sunny Florida. It's a MEAC showdown between Norfolk State and Florida A&M. And this matchup has implications in the chase for the regular season championship in the MEAC. Norfolk State sets the pace at 8-1. NCA&T just a game back, while Florida A&M very much in the hunt with only 6 games remaining in the regular season. And welcome everybody, Doug Sherman along with John Thompson III. So glad you could be here tonight. Norfolk State's coming off its first league loss of the year, but coach, in that game they were not whole. They were missing 3 key players because of suspension stemming from a fight in a game last week against Howard.
No, absolutely. Their only loss of the season in conference comes when they have 3 guys out, including 2 starters. So everyone's back today. They're looking forward to getting back to and planning on getting back to their winning ways.
And those guys are going to have to deal with one of the best sharpshooters, not just in the MEAC, but in the country, Justin Ravenel.
Justin Ravenel, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, you're going to find out soon. You can flat out shoot it. As you said, one of the leading percentage-wise three-point shooters. We saw him get 21 and a half last week. An easy 21. We're going to have some fun tonight.
In MEAC play, Ravenel averaging over 18 points per game. And we are underway. Ball still loose, and it comes to the Spartans of Norfolk State. Quick shot fired up by the only man in the conference who is better shooting the basketball than Justin Ravenel. That is Derek Jamerson Jr.
Yeah, I just finished talking about Ravenel shooting. Jamerson's number 2 in the country in three-point shooting. He gets he's got good size, he gets it up. And you see right there, most of the time, he's not even hitting rim.
Yeah, Jamerson at 50%, just percentage points behind Dartmouth's Brendan Berry for best in the country. Ravenel at 48%, checks in at 5th best in the country. Well, that's not the kind of three-point shot they're looking for, but with the shot clock winding down, Ravenel just had to fire it up.
Yeah, and that's something for us to keep an eye on. And what I mean is Norfolk's pressure. Can they take the Rattlers out of their offensive sets? Florida A&M wants to run sets over and over again, and the Rattlers are going to put a lot of pressure on the ball and then play the gaps that back between the ball, but they really want to attack the ball.
Well, the home team here tonight, Florida A&M, wearing the green uniforms. The visitors from Norfolk State wearing the white with the green lettering and gold trim. First shot attempt of the night by Stephen Whitley off the iron. Cameron Reeves off the front rim. There is the man they call Diesel, Stephen Whitley, looking to go coast to coast.
Look, Diesel looking pretty good right there. Snatching that rebound, blowing out. No one, you got to stop the ball. He'll do that every time unless you stop him.
Ravenel no. Isaiah Martin gets it back, and a whistle and a reach-in foul.
This Norfolk State team is good because multiple people can initiate their breaks. Multiple people can score. Right there, we see Whitley getting the basketball and going coast to coast. They don't have to wait for a point guard to get it. They don't have to wait for designated roles. Whoever gets it will attack.
And Whitley, preseason second-team all-conference, coming off a near triple-double on Saturday. 23 points, 12 rebounds, 9 assists. He played a much bigger role for this team a year ago. You saw he is capable, now with the basketball in his hands, of doing a lot of things for Coach Robert Jones. Here's Jordan Butler. Nice patience to find the open man, and the three is knocked down by Mustadi Pitt.
You know, this Norfolk State team, you know, we talked a little bit about Jamerson, but they have shooters all over the court. You can't leave, and they're an unselfish team that share the ball, but they have multiple people, Pitt being one of them, that can really shoot the basketball.
Well, John, Florida A&M head coach Robert McCullum, one of the keys he told us at shoot-around today, they've got to defend the three, and so far tonight they've not done that.
No, they haven't, and Norfolk makes it hard. They spread it out. They make it hard for you. You see Coach McCullum right there is year 2 of getting his system, the way he wants to play in place. It's coming along just fine for him.
Now, Norfolk State, as a team, shooting 38% from beyond the arc on a all-time pace in program history. And, you know, over the last 14 games, the Spartans have been making 42% as a team. Coach McCallum, he knows those stats. He knows they've got to do a better job defending the three-point line.
I mean, you listen to the number you just said. As a team, they're shooting 42%. That's incredible.
That's kind of Virginia Tech territory right there.
Yep.
Well, Norfolk State head coach Robert Jones told us earlier today that we expect to win as a program. In the non-conference, we go out and we hunt, but we want to be seen as a legit mid-major. We don't want to be viewed by the rest of the country as, quote, just a MEAC team. And they are a team that is loaded for bear this year, Coach. 13-11 overall, 8-1 in conference play, and if Coach Jones is able to get his program back to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 7 years, they would be a tough matchup for anybody.
No, without a doubt. You know, in a lot of leagues that are one-bid leagues, if you lose that weekend in March and you don't make it to the tournament, people don't know about you. But this is a Norfolk State team that's, I'll stop just short of saying dominated the regular season in the MEAC. And Coach Jones, you know, he had his 100th win the other day. And for a program that out of conference, you have to play so many bye games, so many games where you have to go and schedule a loss. To get 100 wins this fast in 6 years is pretty good.
Well, the Norfolk State Spartans are not whole. There is Alex Long, who was sitting out tonight. He fouled out of their last game on Saturday and then had some words as well with Coach, and so Coach has disciplined him. And I was impressed during shoot-around today. Coach Jones just had Alex Long on the sideline running the entire time, and he wasn't exactly running hard, but Coach, as far as I could tell, he was in motion the entire time.
No, he's taking his punishment.
Yep.
For whatever actions, whatever he did, and so as you said, everyone else is preparing for the game. He's on the side just running back and forth.
And so that's one of the starters, Alex Long, a 6'8 senior, averaging 8.5 points, 4.5 rebounds. Also, we got word right before the game that C.J. Kelly, a freshman reserve wing, is out tonight with a sore hip. He went through shoot-around today, but so Norfolk State gets 3 back from suspension, but then loses 2 for the game tonight.
You know, and that kind of goes to something else Coach Jones said. You know, he said, and they've shown it so far this year, he said at full strength, we're tough to beat. You know, we can only beat ourselves. And he attributed, not to take anything away from Bethune-Cookman, who was preseason favorite by the coaches, but, you know, he said we beat ourselves the other day. We weren't at full strength. They're 2 men down today. We'll see how tonight turns out.
Here is one of the suspended players who is back in the lineup. He is a grown man, in the words of his coach. Jordan Butler, a 24-year-old, 6'6", 245 pounds. Although he's given up a lot of height and length at the other end, is 7-footer Isaiah Martin. Yeah,
and right there, Butler has to do a better job. They like the 3-quarter in the post, which means you get 3/4 your body around. He should just sit behind Martin and see if Martin can score over him. If he just lets Martin throw it over the top and catch that layup, he can lay the ball in or dunk it every time. Make him score over you.
MJ Randolph into the game for the Rattlers. Number 3 in green. Here goes Reeves along the baseline. Lost it, got it back. And an offensive foul is called.
So far, Spartans defense has dominated this game. Job baseline, great help coming over by Butler right there, going the other way. Their defense is completely flustered Florida A&M so far. Florida A&M can't get into their set. The ball pressure is bothering A&M.
Coach, you understand during your days as head coach at Princeton, then at Georgetown, every season, every team has its ebbs and flows. And Norfolk State head coach Robert Jones didn't have the best practice here in the building yesterday, but had a pretty good shoot-around, and the feel so far here today is good.
It is. And I was at that practice yesterday. And they're going through their stuff to practice, and all of a sudden, and I've been there, Coach just said, okay, that's enough. That's go to the locker room. We need to sit down and have a talk. And so, you know, they went for about 50 minutes, just under an hour, and all of a sudden they had to go for a little powwow in the locker room. Came out with a much different spirit and shoot around today, and so far a much different spirit to start this game.
And Coach said they aired out a few things, and he felt like the energy was normal this morning at shoot around, as Whitley has it knocked out of bounds. And it'll be Rattlers basketball when we come back. But a quick start with Norfolk State up double digits here in the capital city of Florida, Tallahassee. Super Tuesday doubleheader. Number 5 Kentucky hosts number 19 LSU at Rupp Arena, 7 o'clock Eastern. Then Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, number 2 Duke take on number 16 Louisville in a Sonic blockbuster. Both games are live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Super Tuesday is presented by Boost Mobile. With John Thompson, I'm Doug Sherman. Florida A&M head coach Robert McCullum has said that his team is offensively challenged at times, and so far in the first 4.5 minutes, we have seen a lot of that here tonight.
We have, but to Norfolk State's credit, most of the challenges they've had so far have been caused by Norfolk State. They've been swarming. They've been all over the place. A&M is completely discombobulated on the offensive end.
Having trouble getting it across the timeline. They do to Ravenel, hanging in the air, and he gets the roll.
And we said in the open, the Rattlers go as Ravenel goes. They need it's a good job coming out of the timeout, getting him a basket, get him going.
Whitley, nifty pass. Shot was blocked. Butler lost it. Here comes Reeves the other way. Open in the corner. Randolph, not much of a jump shooter. Able to make it. 14-6 Norfolk State. Check that, 12-6 Norfolk State.
And now you see the switch at the offensive end. A&M goes to a little matchup zone. A little bad communication right there. Nick Thomas, another one of those shooters that Coach Jones brings to every game.
Thomas is 7th in the MEAC in three-point shooting. And as a team, 3 for 4 to start tonight. Lead back to 9. Hector no. Another rebound for Diesel Whitley. Homegrown from Norfolk, Virginia. Missed the end-to-end bucket that time. You'll notice he has a bit of a wrap on his left knee. That's because he was scheduled for knee surgery on a torn meniscus. Bucket by Martin. They were going to have him have surgery back in November on a partially torn meniscus, but second opinion revealed that Whitley was okay. He wasn't going to do more damage to himself, and maybe he's not 100% right now, and surgery will be delayed until after the year. And certainly Coach Jones is happy to have number 34 out there again tonight.
Yeah, and maybe he's not 100%. You know, and his game is getting downhill, coming at you 100 miles an hour, as we have seen on a couple occasions already today. And so not being 100% takes a little bit away from his strength, but he's still pretty good at it.
Second bucket of the night for Isaiah Martin. Rattlers within 5.
And they did a very good job right there of attacking, not letting Norfolk State set up that defense that's been bothering them. Beat the press, go, attack. Martin's going to have the opportunity to have a big game tonight because they're going to go to him.
Mustadi Pitt. Too strong that time. Ball knocked out of bounds. Spartans basketball.
So create offense without having to go against a set defense. Good job right there by Hector pushing the ball. Another big body that can push it. Dumps it off to Martin. Attack, attack, attack before Norfolk gets the chance to come and attack you. Because if the Rattlers are patient and slow things down, then they're going to be attacked. They're going to be defensive when they're on offense.
Mm-hmm. Tracy Hector Jr., much like Stephen Whitley, not your classic point guard, but very good passer, among the team leaders in assists again this year. 7 minutes gone. Foul on defense against Hector. It looked to me like Nick Thomas had himself in a tough spot, but he winds up getting the call.
No, I agree with you. Thomas just got twisted up and fell down right there.
Thomas comes in, the leading scorer on the year for Norfolk State at 14.5 points per game.
And he's their leading scorer, but they have many guys that can score in this team. That's why they only have one conference loss. That's why they're leading the conference. Because you can't just focus in on Thomas. You can't just focus in on Jameson. You can't just focus in on Whitley. There are multiple people that on any given night can get 20.
Pitt off the hesitation. Rebound pulled down by Ravenel. Foul off the ball. And it goes against Chris Ford, a freshman, a 6'8 freshman from Chesterfield, Virginia, who actually made his first career start on Saturday in the loss of Bethune-Cookman as a fill-in for the suspended teammates. Ford played well. He has appeared in all but one game this year, and they have a lot of hope for him. He's an impact performer on defense, but as an offensive player, he's still a work in progress.
No, you know, and he looks like a freshman out there. When you watch films of him, he's still trying to find his way. He's going to be very good. Ford's going to be very good, but he's still, you know, and they have an older team. They have a veteran team, and you can see the older guys yesterday in practice, today in shoot-around, encouraging him, trying to pump him up, because they know if he settles in coming down this stretch right here and he gets his confidence, that's just another weapon that they have.
Yeah, he's 6'8", but has a 7-foot wingspan out of L.C. Byrd High School in Richmond. Around and out on the jump shot attempt by Jamerson. Ravenel guarded by Whitley. Rising up from the baseline. Hector misfires. Here comes Whitley. As you said, Coach, looking to go downhill. A lot of contact, and this time the Diesel created the contact and calls for the foul.
Very good job by Ravenel getting back right there to take that charge. The Rattlers are settling in. We have a game.
Sweat, dedication, cupcakes.
We play football together for the Titans.
Now we own a cupcake shop. I love this new Surface Pro. It's light, it's sleek, it's fast. Cupcakes are a great business.
As long as you don't eat the profits.
Switch to Fios and get entertainment delivered to your home like no one else. Because Fios is a 100% fiber optic network. You'll get the fastest internet available and Fios TV One with an advanced voice remote. And now we'll give you a Netflix premium plan for a full year, so you can stream your favorites in 4K on 4 devices at once. Already have Netflix? We'll cover the cost for 1 year. So switch for $79.99 a month with a 2-year agreement and get Fios Gigabit connection with TV and phone with a 2-year price guarantee. 100% fiber optic network, 100% phenomenal.
Saturday, we'll have 3 of the top 5 teams in the nation on ESPN. Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, number 2 Duke, host NC State at Cameron Indoor, 6 o'clock Eastern. Then it's number 1 Tennessee on a school record 18-game winning streak at Rupp Arena to take on number 5 Kentucky in a Sonic blockbuster. Both games are also streaming live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. FAMU on a 10-3 run, sparked inside by their 7-footer Isaiah Martin.
And, you know, they're a much different team now that Martin is back playing. He missed the fall semester. He gives them another element of presence defensively, but also he's able to do this. They're able to just give it to him. He's so big he can put the ball in the basket. Tonight, I said it a few minutes ago, he's going to have an opportunity to have a big game because with all the pressure on the perimeter, the Rattlers are going to be able to get it down to him, and can he consistently score? So far, he's got 6 of their first 10.
And you know something FAMU has done a good job of so far this season. And unlike Norfolk State, which expects to be at or near the top of the standings in the MEAC, this is new territory for the Rattlers under second-year head coach Robert McCullum. But the schedule played out for them, Coach, favorably to start. 8 of their first 11 MEAC games have been here in Tallahassee. They are 7-3 in conference play right now. And they have done a good job of protecting their home floor. Without a doubt. As you said, they're the surprise of the conference right now. They weren't expected to be up here. And heck, whatever it takes, if you can get a little help from scheduling and have the majority of your games at home first while your team gets confident, feels good about itself, that'll only aid them once they go on the road. And the preseason poll in the MEAC, FAMU was picked 7th. But as we showed off the top, they are sitting in 3rd place currently with a chance to take down the 1st place Norfolk State Spartans. You can see the Spartans have cooled off. Foul on the drive. That's Cameron Reeves. He, like Ravenel, has really picked up his offense since he went for 20 points on December 29th at Memphis. Reeves has been averaging 13 per game, and a week ago tonight, Coach, we saw him really put on a show. He has, and they need, Coach needs him
to be aggressive. He takes a lot of threes. You know, he only played in 11 games last year as a freshman. So in many ways, he is just gaining his confidence in settling in to what Coach wants from him.
He's a young man out of Centennial High School in Champaign, Illinois, who we asked his coach, Robert McCullum, what that recruiting Cameron Reeves was like. Kind of smiled, kind of chuckled, because they are the first and only, as far as we can tell, the first and only grandfather-grandson coach and player in all of college basketball. So Coach had an inside track on that one.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny, as he talked about Cameron's development, of course, Cameron was living in Illinois while his grandfather was an assistant coach at the University of Oregon under Dana Altman. And grandson would go out and spend time each summer out in Eugene, and Robert McCullum would see his grandson develop, but it took a while for him to be convinced his grandson was a Division I player.
And you know, that just goes to people develop. He gets better. You know, the young man got better each year until all of a sudden, you know, things just worked out. You know, God works in mysterious ways where Coach McCullum gets a job here and he's good enough, and okay, this is an easy decision. Coach also said that the family, and I don't think he necessarily was a part of this discussion, but his mother and father wanted him to go to HBCU. And so they were already looking at Florida A&M and other places before Coach McCullum got this job.
Cameron is the son of Rochelle, who is the daughter of head coach Robert McCullum. At the free throw line, Nick Thomas, the redshirt junior from Arlington, Texas. He's able to knock down the second.
And one of the reasons that A&M has settled down is they've handled the pressure better. Early on, the Spartans' pressure was really bothering them. It hasn't as much. They're able to run their sets and get the shots they want lately.
Iffy Mezarike into the game, down in the low post, calling for it again, gets it again, this time working from the right side. The help defender comes down and picks up the foul. Armani Branch, grad transfer from VMI with his first personal.
And you know, it's good to see in Mezarike. I mean, he wanted the ball down there. He was confident. He knew that he could get that shot off. Nice little pivot in there. I think the Rattlers, I said it already as it related to Martin, but they're going to keep going inside. They think they have an advantage inside.
And Mezarike was their starting five until Isaiah Martin returned midseason from being ineligible. On the year averaging just over 3 points per game. He played for Kevin Boyle at Montverde Academy and was part of a national championship team a few years back that included some names you might recognize, like Ben Simmons. Blake Harris went to NC State. And he is a young man who began his college career at St. Francis of Pennsylvania, now a big part of what they're doing at Florida A&M. Reach-in foul. Well, since this game started 12-0 for Norfolk State, Coach. FAMU's on a 14-5 run and right back in it.
Yeah, it's a long game, man. 40 minutes is a long game. They're handling the pressure better. You see that last possession, the Spartans went to 5 out. They're just passing, cutting, moving. Their bigs are skilled players, so they can do that. But they're just spreading there and getting 5 out, and they want to see if they can be guarded.
There's your grown man.
Grown man strength, 24.
Jordan Butler, who apparently NFL scouts have shown interest in as a possible tight end at the next level, and we've gotten a sense of his physicality. Here he comes on the steal. And it's a blocking foul. Nonetheless, the Spartans missing on an opportunity in transition there.
So, you know, the Spartans go to this 5 out. The weak side gets there a little late. It gets there just a little bit late. Young fella, Mr. DJ Jones, you got to get over there sooner. But their 5 out movement had the weak side guys chasing each other. And the grown man goes in there with their left hand dunk. Then he gets a steal down the other way, leads a break, wisely gave it up to try to get it back.
I got some names for you, Coach. How about Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, Jimmy Graham, Julius Thomas, Rico Gathers, and Mo Alley Cox? Do you see Butler in that mold potentially?
Well, I see that body. And he has the same body as those guys. I think he has the same nastiness as those guys, that same competitive spirit as those guys. Now, me, I'm not going to pretend to know anything about football.
No.
But if you look at that body and his mobility, I 100% see why the football, the NFL scouts are checking out this young man.
Yeah, again, those guys I named, Tony Gonzalez they all played college basketball. Tony Gonzalez played at Cal, Antonio Gates at Kent State, Jimmy Graham with the Miami Hurricanes, Julius Thomas at Portland State, Rico Gathers at Baylor, and then Mo Alley Cox at VCU. And the common thread between all of them, they showed physical attributes playing Division I college basketball, 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 240, 230 with the hands, the feet, the agility that profile into a professional football player, and they think this young man potentially could go that route.
The nastiness also.
Don't overlook the nastiness.
Cannot overlook that.
And, it's not just – there's a really long list. Those are just the tight ends out of college basketball. You've got mid-major players as well, like Chris Manhertz, who played basketball at Canisius. He's a tight end at Buffalo with the Bills. Menelik Watson was a basketball player at Marist. He wound up transferring here to Tallahassee to Florida State to play football. He's gone on to be a good offensive tackle in the NFL, so you never know. And who knows if Jordan Butler even has it in his wants.
No, right on cue, though.
He played defensive back.
Oh, yeah. I see it. Big fella going over there. He didn't know there was any contact. Jump right up. Okay, off me.
Now, as we said, he is 24 years old. He was a redshirt last year. Sat out the first semester and then developed pink eye and missed the second semester for health reasons. And so he's got an extra year of bulk and strength. And he's a big part of why Norfolk State has won 8 of its last 9 and sit alone atop the MEAC standings. Keontae Chavis with his first shot attempt off the mark.
Ravenel has to get going right here. They're hanging around. It's close, but Ravenel has to get going.
Nice idea, but the pass intended for Tracy Hector from Isaiah Martin a little bit too tall.
No, big fella. Bad idea. You're 3 feet from the rim. You're 7'2". The guy on you is 6'7". Turn and put the pivot and put that in, big fella. It was unselfish. I agree with that, but it was a bad idea.
All right. This is Joe Bryant Jr. off the Norfolk State bench, number 4 in white. Runner by Jamerson missed the mark. And the Rattlers down by 5 with the basketball. 8.5 minutes remaining in the first.
That's Martin's presence right there. He didn't block that shot, but on penetration, he's altering shots. They're thinking about him.
He's averaging nearly 2.5 block shots per game. He'd be among the league leaders if he had played all year. Pass deflected out of bounds by M.J. Randolph. It'll stay with the Spartans.
Randolph's a good-looking freshman. Two-way player, as people like to say now. He's a very good defensive player, offensive player. Not a great shooter, but a good offensive player.
And he is a 5-time Rookie of the Week in the MEAC, including this week. There's the big fella again, Jordan Butler, throwing it down with 2 hands this time.
Nice move, but nice unselfish play right there by the Spartans.
Hector brings it back out to the perimeter. Mid-range shot by Reeves, a little strong. Bryant Jr. lays it off the window.
Woo, it took him forever to get there, didn't it? I thought they were going to catch him.
He's 6'1", 225, only a freshman, but he fits in with this grown man feel about this Norfolk State team.
Exactly. Big, strong, aggressive, great defensive play. The anticipation is there. Uses his body to ward off the defenders with a kiss off the glass.
Clash of the ACC Tuesday at 9 Eastern on ESPN.
All right, Jay Billis, we certainly will check that out. Where Duke has lived up to expectation coming into the year, Louisville is really the surprise of the ACC, and I'm guessing when we laid out the schedule at the start of the year, we didn't think this would be a Sonic blockbuster, but all credit to Coach Mack and the Cardinals.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he has them playing at a level that not many expected. You know, he walked into a situation there where they do have players. You know, everyone thought with the coaching change there may be a dip, but without a doubt, the Cardinal has players. And I think with the Duke team, everyone talks about how explosive they are offensively, but they're really guarding this year. They're making it really hard for the opposition to score.
And as Jay has pointed out countless times, Trey Jones is quite the defensive player from the point guard position that sets the tone. With John Thompson III, I'm Doug Sherman here in Tallahassee, Florida. On Big Monday, we've got a MEAC showdown between the Rattlers of Florida A&M and the Spartans of Norfolk State University. Rattlers with the basketball. Norfolk State on an 8-2 run. Blocked from behind. Derek Jamerson with the defense, saying, I'm not just a three-point shooter.
No, he's not. But one thing to note, Norfolk State earlier in the game was really pressuring the ball and then playing the gaps back behind. They're not pressuring the ball as much. The Rattlers are able to do what they want. There again, you see that young man, Mr. Martin, they just throw. He's so tall, so long, has good touch. Keep feeding him.
And isn't it true, Coach, that perhaps the best way to defend the post is to do it on the wing to keep the guy with the basketball from having a clean path to be able to pass it in there? To
pressure the ball so he can't just sit there and pick you apart.
Yeah.
Right now, the Spartans are being a little – they're letting that passer have the freedom to do what he wants. They're letting the ball handler get to where he wants. Way to run the court, big fella.
Chavis blocked it from behind. But you're right, another rim run for Isaiah Martin. The alternate possession arrow will give it to Norfolk State.
No, way to run. Here we see the out-of-bounds plays. They just throw it up to him. He keeps it high. Keeps it high on the rim run. He brought it down. That out-of-bounds, so that was a good play. Kept it high. Just throw it up to the big fella. Put it in, man. The last play, you just see, he's got to get stronger. You see they just big boy. But there you see his presence felt again. He won't be credited with the block right there, but he's the reason they missed that shot.
Well, he forced the pass, but it was a good pass, and the layup by Jamerson. Out of Cornerstone High School on the west side of Detroit. Reeves and Hector in the backcourt along with Ravenel. Corner three, well short. And the Spartans back the other way on top by 9. And this is a Spartans team that for much of MEAC play has been dominant, but coming off its only loss in the conference Saturday at MEAC preseason favorite Bethune-Cookman. But again, they were without 3 players, including that one, Chavis, due to suspension. Chavis turns it over back to FAMU. So Norfolk State, despite the loss at Bethune on Saturday, still alone in first place. And as Coach Jones told us earlier today, they've got to beat us on the court. In his mind, nobody has beaten them on the court. With all respect to Bethune-Cookman, they beat themselves based on how they acted the week before at Howard University.
No, correct. And they are a confident group, to say the least. You know, that Howard game, they were down 24, came back and won. And he was saying in the Bethune-Cookman game, even shorthanded, the team acted as if, okay, we're just going to come back and win. And they just, that's a lesson learned. Look at the big fella. Look at the big fella doing work. When they don't throw it to him, he's just going upstairs. I tell you what, the Spartan team, particularly Jordan Butler, the last couple of possessions, he needs to put a body and drive Martin out of it. It's not one. He's just turning and touching, saying, okay, I'm boxing him out. He needs to drive him away because the big fella's too long.
And you'd certainly think he could move him off his spot. He's 6'6", 245. But Martin's having himself a good game on the offensive end.
6'6", 245, going against 7 foot, maybe 7'1". So you can't just touch him right there. Big fella being aggressive. That's nice.
Martin's into double figures. Well, Coach Jones said of his Norfolk State team, we've got to get that oomph back. Didn't have it on Saturday. It has felt like they've got that oomph back. How do you quantify oomph, Coach?
Their swag, their confidence. You know, for them, that oomph is feeling that we're going to share the game, we're going to work well with each other, and when we do that, no one can stop us. They have that swag about them at both ends of the, or they had that swag about them at both ends of the court. They're trying to get back. That's what Coach meant when he said that oomph.
Well, their Florida trip is not easy. Going to Bethune-Cookman, not easy, and FAMU coming here to Tallahassee is not as easy as it has been over the years in the MEAC. Good fight for the basketball, and again, it's Isaiah Martin who finds the open man for three. Justin Ravenel pulls the Rattlers back within 4.
Okay, see, Ravenel has been a little non-existent. The crowd has been non-existent. I'm waiting for this FAMU crowd to get going here. You see, you keep giving up offensive rebounds. On this possession, Rattlers got 2 offensive possessions, and then all of a sudden, Mr. Ravenel for 3.
Moving.
Here's a look just before break. Mustadi Pitt had his pocket picked by M.J. Randolph, and Pitt with his left arm right there smacked Randolph across the face. Randolph was slow to get up, had the trainer come over and check him out, but the officials have not taken a look. Coach, does this rise to at least worthy of a look again for a potential flagrant one?
I think so. You know, I think they should have checked it out. You know, as you said, you know, Randolph, who he makes things happen. You know, he picks Pitt's pocket. How about that one?
That's a tough one.
You know, right at half court, and Pitt going after the ball swings his arm back. You don't. It's hard to say whether it was intentional or not, but something should have been looked at.
Fortunately, Randolph appears to be okay. He stays on the floor for the Rattlers. Shot clock down to 7. Fitzgerald left his feet, lost the ball. It'll stay with Norfolk State with 4 on the shot clock.
And there again, you were saying every possession down the court, Martin's making his presence felt at both ends of the court. They're going in there, and he's not getting blocks, but they're not getting the ball up quality shots either.
Ball knocked away from Butler. Looked like he was the last to touch, but then one official overrules the other, and a third will come in. They'll have a conversation and sort it out.
That time, Mr. Martin goes out on the perimeter and makes a defensive play with his quick hands. See, right now the Spartans have to pressure the ball. They have to attack the ball more. They really had the Rattlers flustered when they were pressuring, and lately they've just been content just to stand in front and just play containment defense.
Here's Nasir Kaur into the game, junior from Tampa out of Freedom High School. Under 5 to shoot. Kaur's in a tough spot, finds Martin. Ball taken away before the horn sounds, so here come the Spartans end to end. Thomas is blocked. Making things happen once again is the freshman from Pensacola, M.J. Randolph.
I love that freshman. I mean, he's a tough kid. You see, he doesn't give up. Transition basket comes flying out of nowhere, meets him at the rim. No, not today. You got to go to the foul line and earn those. Both ends of the court, this young man. He makes his presence felt. At this point, we said not a great shooter, but a good offensive player. And down this end, he works. He knows a lot of freshmen coming into college don't understand how hard it is and the level at which you must compete. He understands as a freshman how he must compete to help his team win.
Of your Hoyas, who was the best prepared freshman to come in and compete right away defensively?
I would probably put 2 people on that list. Otto Porter, definitely walked in ready to compete. And also a young man, Greg Whittington, came in 6'9", could guard literally every position on the court. Was able to do it right away.
But that's rare. That's the oddity when those guys are able to come in and do that.
Yes, it is.
Bryant lost it. Norfolk State will keep with just over 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Timeout called by Robert Jones, the 6th-year head coach at Norfolk State. This week's NBA Wednesday doubleheader starts in Minnesota with James Harden looking to add to his historic scoring streak when the Rockets take on the Timberwolves, and then it's off to the Rose City for what should be a good one between the Warriors and the Trailblazers. Coverage begins with NBA Countdown Wednesday at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Well, Mr. Butler's back in the lineup after the 1-game suspension, and he's been doing work at this end of the floor.
No, he has. And you talk about that one loss that they had. Mr. Butler was not there, showing his versatility inside, outside, nice movement right there. Now, he's got to do a better job on the boards because the big fella, Mr. Martin's been pushing him around a little bit going after those rebounds.
5-second violation. Joe Bryant couldn't get it in. And we talk about Jordan Butler's prowess on the offensive end. We forget he is the second all-time shot block leader in program history for Norfolk State.
Correct. That's very true.
Pretty good stuff.
Watch Ravenel coming off a double screen on the other side over here.
Go to the high post this time. Hector fouled. B.J. Fitzgerald, the freshman from Danville, Virginia, called for the personal.
And Fitzgerald is one of those young guys where you watch them practice and you see the veterans schooling him, pumping him up, encouraging him. They think he's going to play an integral role in the future of Spartan basketball, and he's a pup. He's just learning right now.
6'6", 200 pounds, out of the Carlisle School. And his full name to me, Coach, sounds very, very regal. Francis O'Brien King Fitzgerald. Goes by BJ.
That is extremely regal.
I like it. His mom, Karen King. His dad, Bryant Fitzgerald.
So he's Bryant Jr., hence BJ?
Sounds like it.
Yep. Let's see if the Spartans get a backdoor cut here.
Pitt nearly had it poked away. Instead sticks with it, gets the shot up. Bryant up and over the big fella. Butler with the putback. It's 31-24.
Rattlers very stagnant on offense. Got to get some movement right here. They're not being attacked. Run your stuff a little faster. They're taking too long to get to what they want.
It's been a quiet first half for Cameron Reeves. Ravenel as well has got the ball now. Winds up with a clean look as the man defending him, Nick Thomas, backed away. Looked like he took a shot to the face, but Ravenel couldn't make him pay. Well, I thought Butler was going to go there.
I thought he was too. Wise play though. He looked at the clock. So let's work some time off this clock. Woo, got picked again.
Here come the Rattlers. Good hustle to come back and knock the ball away by Bryant, who picks up the foul. And Ravenel will shoot a pair.
You know, everyone is falling in love with that little hezzy cross. The Rattlers are getting down and picking that over and over again. Good hustle right there, but to get back into play. They didn't quit on the play.
And so Ravenel, who is equally proficient shooting from the free throw line as he is from the three-point line, 85% of the year, and he has made 21 in a row.
Ooh.
Dirty but good.
I thought you jinxed him right there. That hit every part of the rim. 22 in a row.
And we haven't talked about his pursuit of the Terrence Woods all-time program record for three-pointers made. He is now 15 shy with 6 games to play. Is Justin Ravenel. Got a shot.
He only has one today. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think he's going to get that 15. Because he's going to have one game where he hits 5 or 6 or 7 like he did last week.
Another one all the way around and in.
And see, he's such a good shooter. He considers that a miss. Like it went in the basket, but that's not me right there. That hit every part of the rim.
But he'll take the points.
Absolutely.
Shot clock off. 16 seconds remaining in the half.
Watch to see if he gets picked again.
You know, that's what Randolph's thinking all about. Not this time. Pitt turns the corner, uses that body against the big man, and lays it in.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Coach? Good pick.
Strong finish after a very strong start for Norfolk State. They led 12-0. It's now 33-26. The first place Spartans on top of the Rattlers. Stay tuned. Coming up after the break, we'll take you to the college basketball studio. Where Center Court Lawson Center, they've got a little slam dunk contest going on. Oh! I'm going with the 360 that happened just before we came out of break. And there it was. Well, this is our next Super Tuesday doubleheader. Number 5 Kentucky will host number 19 LSU at Rupp Arena beginning at 7 o'clock Eastern. And then a Sonic blockbuster, Zion, RJ, and the Duke Blue Devils put their number 2 ranking on the line against 16th ranked Louisville. Both games live on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. Super Tuesday is presented by Boost Mobile. We'll take a break and come back with first half highlights. Norfolk State on top by 7.
Help with your plan.
Yep, every month.
Great. Sounds like a plan.
Start a plan that flexes with yours. New York Life.
Back in Tallahassee, where you are watching and listening to the 100, the fantastic band here at Florida A&M University. With John Thompson III, I'm Doug Sherman. Thrilled to be here for a big Monday in the MEAC. The band is pretty good. Got some good ball players going on, and we have seen both the first place Spartans and the third place Rattlers in this back and forth game take their turns.
No, we have. But first, the band is not just pretty good; they're the best.
The best.
The best.
The best.
Okay,
all right.
Now, back to the game. We saw early on the pressure of the Spartans bother the Rattlers. The pressure was swarming. They were causing turnovers. They were attacking, and it really affected the Rattlers. You know, just the energy, the effort, they were all over the place. And then slowly, which then led to offense for them down the other end. They started to feel good about themselves. The big fella, Jordan Butler right there, nice movement, nice ball movement. It led to offense. And then the Rattlers settled down a little bit. They got accustomed to the pressure. And then they started to go inside to the big fella, Isaiah Martin, who is a load down there. And it's a load, not literally, he's not heavy, but he's tough to deal with because of his length, because of his size. I think the Rattlers should continue to go to him in the second half.
Well, John, my favorite stat line in that first half comes from Nick Thomas for Norfolk State. He took 1 shot from the floor, yet leads everybody with 11 points. He was 8 for 8 from the free throw line.
You know, let me just say, there's something flawed with stats. Because you look at it and say he took 1 shot. Well, he took a lot more. He got fouled on the shot.
This is true.
And when you get fouled, they don't count them as attempts. And so you'll say, oh, he only took one. No, he had more than that. But that's the way the system works. More importantly, first possession, what do the Rattlers do? They go right inside to Martin, who draws the foul on Jordan Butler. Go right back to him again. Give it to him.
Reeves, who had a quiet first half, puts up an air ball.
Yeah, and you know they went into Martin. But he just kicked it right back out. Even if you don't want to shoot it, he needs to hold it for a count or two to make them crowd him. As soon as he got it, he just touched it right out to a person that wasn't necessarily open to shoot.
All right, so I want to ask you, I'm going to take your thought from a moment ago a step further as Stephen Whitley steps back. That's a long two-point shot for the redshirt junior from Norfolk. So obviously you don't get a field goal attempt if you are fouled in the act of shooting. If you then make one or two of your free throws, should the person who set you up with the pass get an assist?
Hey, I was a passer. I'm always for the guy. I'm always for the guy who threw it to you to get the assist. Absolutely.
Diesel does a nice job to find Jamerson along the baseline who missed it. Yeah, I've always been a big advocate as for point guards that if you make a good pass that results in 2 points at the free throw line, or even 1 point, you should get an assist. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Both teams, first minute and a half here, a little sluggish to start this second half.
Mastati pitch, Stephen Whitley in the backcourt to start the second half for Norfolk State. They come in with a record of 8-1 in the conference. Here is Thomas with just his second official shot attempt. First time he's missed.
Oh boy.
Well, there's a gentleman sitting right behind us, Leonard Hamilton, who didn't have to travel far for this game. The FAMU and Florida State campuses sit almost side by side, and he's got his Seminoles playing at a very high level right now.
Which isn't surprising. Leonard Hamilton is one of the best. Coach Ham is one of the best coaches in the country that people don't talk about. I mean, outstanding coach that's been an inspiration for a lot, myself and a lot of other coaches that have followed behind him. He's been doing this for over 30 years. Always has had success, always won. He and Coach McCullum are good friends. And as you said, the two campuses are practically touching. I was talking to him at halftime. He said, we just finished up practice, so I wanted to come over and catch the end of this game.
And let's talk more about him then. Coach Hamilton, the all-time winningest coach in the history of two programs, the Miami Hurricanes, and then also at Florida State. He was an NBA head coach. He had time at Oklahoma State. And you're right, goes about his business nationally very quietly, but the program that they have is a threat to go deep into the tournament every single year, including this one.
Correct. The 22nd ranked Seminoles right now, they're always big, long, they always defend. You know, you said he goes about his business quietly. He goes about his business. We in our profession in media are too quiet about his accolades and what he's done and his success.
No doubt. Had a big overtime win just down the street on Saturday against Louisville, 80-75. They are waving off as we take another look. The shot came after the shot clock violation. And so Coach Hamilton's club has won 5 in a row, heading into a home date against Wake Forest later this week. What'd you say? That was Wednesday they're playing the Demon Deacons?
Yes, Wednesday.
So night after next.
They're checking to see if he got it off. I think it may have still been in his hand when the clock hit. Still may have been on Ravenel's fingertips when the clock hit 0.
Did you see the Missouri State finish last night on the scramble and the heave that beat the buzzer to win it for Missouri State?
I did see that. How crazy was that? How did you have to feel terrible? Like so many things happened in that one possession that could have won the game or lost the game depending on your vantage point. It was just incredible. You see right here, yeah, it's still in his hands at 0.
There you get the call. Our officials, Frankie Bordeaux, Carl Blair, Aaron Chambliss. They get it right. The Ravenel shot is waved off. And it's Spartans basketball. And you know, off the top, we highlighted the two sharpshooters, Jamerson, who is second in the country at 50%, and Ravenel, who is fifth in the country at 48%. Neither of them have really gotten going.
No, they haven't.
Now, is that good defense, good scouting as Whitley knocks one in?
Well, I think we saw from both practices that stopping those shots was a point of emphasis, protecting the three-point line and specifically stopping each guy stopping the other. So I'd give you good defense, but then Ravenel says, "Okay, take away my three. I'm gonna get my three the old-fashioned way." Nice step move right there, puts it in. They're gonna. I said it several times. They go as he goes. He's gonna have to warm up here for them to get back in.
There's your old-fashioned three-point play for Ravenel, the senior from Lithonia, Georgia.
And we've seen him score 20 points, 21 points in a half. He may need to warm up a little bit in this second half for A&M to have a chance.
Preseason third-team all-conference, averaging over 18 points per game in conference play. The Rattlers have won 5 out of 6 coming in. Off the switch, Nick Thomas was in a tough spot, giving up a foot in that mismatch.
Oh.
Although
he must have hooked him. I didn't see that play.
The foul goes on the 7-footer and not on the 6'2" Thomas.
But you know, Thomas has got a little bit of fight in him. He's given up a foot down there and worked and danced a little bit to force the ref to call the foul on Martin.
What did we say last week when we finally got it right? It's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog.
Yeah, I messed that one up, didn't I?
I have trouble with it myself.
Go back to the big fella.
Ravenel back to DJ Jones. Off the bounce. You like that shot, Coach?
You know, if he didn't shoot it, they would have been looking at probably another shot clock violation in a few seconds. I think they should go inside more.
Randolph, offensive foul.
Great play right there by Thomas to hustle back. I think he took a bad shot down the other end, you know, but you see him hustling back to step in and take that charge. Thomas getting back, getting his feet set. Great play.
There's a look at downtown Tallahassee, Florida, where the hometown Rattlers find themselves trailing Norfolk State by 11. And the visitors from Virginia, a program that have only been at the Division I level since 1997, but there was life before D1. Namely, Bobby Dandridge, who as a senior averaged over 32 points per game, went on to the NBA, was a 4-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, and those shots of him with Wes Unseld and the Bullets. You were a youngster growing up in D.C. at the time. You have great memories of Bobby Dandridge.
No doubt. Bobby D! Hey, I was a Bobby D groupie. There's such a thing.
You made it out to the Cap Center as often as possible?
Yes, I did.
Now, the Norfolk State basketball program, as mentioned, has only been Division I for just over 2 decades as Thomas connects from long range. But they put a number of guys into the NBA like David Pope, Ray Epps, and the most recent and the only current NBA player from a MEAC school is a guy named Kyle O'Quinn, who's putting together a really solid professional career now with the Indiana Pacers.
And just as important as that, Coach Jones talked about how Kyle comes back, works out, talks to the guys as a part of the program.
Reeves misfires. The 7-footer missed the dunk, but Butler's going to pick up the foul.
Now, I like to see the young fella Martin going up strong like that. We've seen him get a few shots blocked where he's tippy-toed and going up nice and soft. That time he gets the rebound yet again. He's hitting the boards, gets strong rebound, bounces to him, but go up strong, young fella.
And so there's a good look at the 7-footer from Denver. In his senior year, averaging just over 7 points and 6 rebounds per game. But getting back to Kyle O'Quinn, he holds his annual summer camp back at Norfolk State every year, gives lots of money back to his alma mater. And you remember that 2012 team that went to the NCAA tournament and upset Missouri. He went for 26-14. And now with the Indiana Pacers, he'll be back on campus in just a few weeks because he will join Bobby Dandridge and also David Pope as the third member of the fraternity in Spartans history to have his uniform number retired. Great honor for him. So the number 10 will hang forever and never be worn again by another Spartans player. I believe Coach Jones said that his most recent donation was $100,000.
And it's not, and that's terrific. And you know, regardless of this, I'm going off a little tangent right now. Regardless of where you went to school, if you can, you should give back to your school.
Yep.
But just as important as the money that Kyle is giving back is his time, his energy, being a resource. You know, someone that comes back in the summer not just to do his camp, but to bounce ideas off of this group. That these young men who have questions can talk to him, and someone who has made it to where they aspire to make it. And so, just his time that he's giving back is as important as the money. So the money's good too.
Well, Kyle O'Quinn, like his former head coach Robert Jones, who was an assistant coach, as we take another look at the injury suffered by Mastati Pitt.
It looks like he banged knees right there with Randolph. I don't think he landed funny. It could just be a Charlie. It might even not be his knee. It might be his thigh. Just bang knees there. He's okay.
That's a good sign right there. But Kyle O'Quinn and Robert Jones have a lot of connections. They're both native New Yorkers. Coach Jones is a 39-year-old from Jamaica, Queens. And Kyle O'Quinn also from Queens. He was another guy who was completely overlooked. He didn't play a lot of high school basketball, if I recall correctly, and wound up finding his way to Norfolk State, and two-time MEAC Defensive Player of the Year. Coach Jones was an assistant at the time. And it's all part of a Norfolk State program that ever since coming into the MEAC has been outstanding. How about this? 20 straight years, the Spartans have been 500 or better in league play.
That's an incredible stat. I mean, that's an incredible stat. You know, a lot of times these MEAC coaches and these HBCU coaches don't get the attention that they deserve because in the pre-league play, they have to go out and schedule so many games against high-powered teams just to make money. And so you look at these guys' record and say, oh, he's only around 500. Oh, he's only this certain percentage. Well, because half their season, they're scheduling losses, literally, just to make money for the athletic program. I mean, we're talking about a Norfolk State team with Coach Jones that's 95-26 since 2011-12 season in conference. That's just gaudy.
Yeah, I think that's 79% of their conference games they've won. It's among the best in the country. Xavier's been the best in the conferences they have been in during that time. But in the MEAC, Norfolk State has set the standard for a long time in the regular season. But regular season success is not what they are all about. Coach Jones, it's been too long in their minds that they haven't been back to the NCAA tournament since Kyle O'Quinn's senior year back in 2012. They've been really good since, but they have not won the conference tournament. Isaiah Martin went up above the rim and then missed the shot.
Why didn't he dunk that? Did he not hear me the possession before that?
Well, I hope that was a rhetorical question on your part, Coach, because I've never been up there to know what to do with the basketball.
Great post feed, gets it in there. Nice drop step on the catch. Throw that down, young fella. Stop all that laying it in stuff. Punch that one.
And at the other end, Nick Thomas back at the free throw line where he has been all night.
You know, down at that end, you have Armani Branch, who's 6'7", guarding Martin. You know, he missed that layup. As a passer, as his teammates, you might quickly forget that because you need to go right back to him. He does have the advantage down there. You know, you have to go inside, and maybe they start paying attention to him, which will open up Ravenel on the perimeter. Go right back to him. Forget that he missed that. Go back, smack him on the behind, say, come on, big man, I'm coming back to you. Take to them strong this next time.
Norfolk State has opened the second half on a 14-3 run. Let's see if they do find Isaiah Martin, who himself has NBA bloodlines. His dad was a real good player at St. Joe's.
St. Joe's, and then with the Denver Nuggets, 86-88.
He's a first-round pick. Ravenel brings the crowd to its feet.
Now, Florida A&M needs to now pick up their pressure. They got to sooner or later. Plenty of time, 13 minutes, 13-point deficit, but they can't just be passive. Defensively, they got to start. See if they can make some things happen, like the Spartans did in the first half.
Whitley goes by Reeves, who appeared to flop, and we've got a foul underneath.
He might have flopped, but he caught a whole lot of that shoulder and hip and elbow of Whitley as Whitley dipped that big shoulder as he turned that corner.
Oh, he does have plenty of shoulder to dish out. Let's see.
Just a lapse, just a defensive lapse right there.
(49-34) Norfolk State.
Shuffle off, swing it, go back to the big fella, give it to him.
Nice back cut. Terrific feed to find the streaking MJ Randolph.
You know, and they did a very good job right there of going through their reads. They looked for one option. They looked for Martin Post, and he wasn't there. They looked for Ravenel coming off the pin down. He wasn't there. Then they get the back door. Here's this young man. All he does is make plays over and over again, this freshman.
Make sure he's all right. He wound up a good 15 feet off the floor. Looks like Randolph is back up. He took a shot to the head in the first half. He's back on his feet. We've got ourselves a timeout here in Tallahassee with Norfolk State up by 13. Duke tied with North Carolina at 9-1 in conference play. At this point, Louisville is tied for fourth place with Syracuse. They're both 8-3, stuck in the middle. University of Virginia, and over on ESPN right now, Carolina's playing the Wahoos. And it's Carolina up 55-51. That's quite a, if it's a three-horse race, Duke, Carolina, Virginia, who would you handicap with about a month to go, Coach?
You know, I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say the Tar Heels.
Oh.
Say the Tar Heels.
How about that?
Only because everyone else. I'm picking the Tar Heels.
Well, they certainly are dangerous. They've got firepower. Kobe White's having himself another terrific game this evening. And I find it interesting each year. Roy Williams, the Hall of Fame coach for North Carolina, of course, goes as deep on his bench as anybody in the country, goes 11-12 deep, but that's in November, December. This time of year, he's got his 8-man rotation, and they're getting the job done.
Well, the guys are in shape. They play at such a pace that he has to play the bodies, particularly early, whether or not the guys, quite honestly, get accustomed to it. They fly up and down the court, so he has to throw bodies in and out to just give guys a rest.
I'm going to mark that down. Tar Heels win the ACC this year. I like it. Here we've got two of the top three teams in the MEAC. Norfolk State, the first place team, threw the first punch tonight, scoring the first 12. FAMU's made a couple of runs, but especially here in the second half, we have seen the Spartans once again stretch it out to 14.
They're confident about theirs. They're cocky. As Coach said, it's a bad trait that they have, but they feel like they can just turn it on. And you get close, okay, we're going to step it up. Fortunately for them, more often than not this year, it's worked out.
So you would say, based on what you've seen tonight, John, they've got their oomph back?
No, they got the oomph back. It's not quite there yet. They're not quite near where they need to be.
Okay.
They aren't at the level that they were. But as we said, I mean, they still are without two players tonight. They're without Alex Long and they're without C.J. Kelly. And so maybe that'll help get the to the back.
Alex Long suspended for the game by his head coach. for conduct detrimental to the team a couple of days ago during their game and their loss to Bethune-Cookman. C.J. Kelly was a late scratch because of a sore hip.
So they have 5 guys that can handle the ball. They're just going 5 out, trying to wear down the Rattlers right now.
And unlike the days of Bobby Dandridge back in the late 60s when he was going to go get you 30 every night, this Norfolk State team has any one of a number of, 5, 6, 7 guys who could lead your scoring on any given game?
Yep, and the good thing, what makes them so dangerous is on most nights, you don't have that one guy getting you 30, but you may have 4 guys getting you 10 to 16.
Coach Jones started Brooklyn Tech coming up. Dreamed of playing at St. John's, but he was not a Division I player. He went upstate to Division III SUNY New Paltz in New York and scored over 1,300 points. Honorable mention, Division III All-American, and he has carved out himself a nice run, both as an assistant as a head coach at Norfolk State.
And we've articulated a lot of the success that this Norfolk State team has had. He's been there for a large part of that. Right there, you see the Rattlers, if they're going to claw back in this with 9:41, they're going to have to start to get those second shots. They're going to have to create opportunities for themselves. They're going to have to pick up the pressure a little bit on defense.
Coach McCullum, the 1976 graduate of Birmingham Southern, down in his native Birmingham, Alabama. His Rattlers played so well last Monday, it would have been hard to replicate that. But they still have won 5 out of 6. They're just facing a loaded Norfolk State team tonight. Plenty of time, though, left. 9:41 on the clock. Got to make free throws, though.
And I'll say again, Mr. Ravenel, he's got 15 points. But we need one of those halves. We need one of those spurts like he had in that first half against North Carolina Central if they're going to get back in it.
Armani Branch beating the post to Thomas. Lost it. Reeves comes away with it. And once again, who is it hitting the deck? Out in front of the rest of the pack, it's M.J. Randolph.
The young man just makes plays at the defensive end. He's involved with everything. He gets out, he's going to the line again, runs hard in transition, puts pressure on the defense by just how hard he runs in transition. He's going to be a force in this league for years to come.
Coincidentally, M.J. Randolph is out of Booker T. Washington in Pensacola, Florida. That is the same high school that produced former Rattler great Bob Williams, on to become the first black player in Minneapolis Lakers history. And when in Minneapolis, Kobe Bryant had the opportunity to show his appreciation for what Mr. Williams did to help blaze the trail in that organization.
Absolutely. How about putting the pressure on this young man? Booker T to the Rattlers.
There you go.
Let's see what happens next, young fella.
You just never know.
You get your degree and you see what happens next.
Yep. Well, that was way back in 1955. And Mr. Williams was one of that first wave of black players who got the opportunity to play at the highest level. Well, the Rattlers nearly forced the turnover. Spartans hold on and find the open man. Nick Thomas for 3, and a timeout is called by the Spartans.
Big possession right there. The defense is trying. The Rattlers are scraping. They're hustling. They're taking chances. But you miss out all of a sudden, Mr. Thomas.
Robert Jones is all New Yorker. He has lived in Norfolk, Virginia for the last 15 years or so, but no hint of a Southern accent, Coach, and he's very proud of the fact. Now, some coaches, when they go south, you hear over time, they start to assimilate, and they sound like the region they live and work in. But Coach Jones is sticking with his New York sound.
Now, this is the true test. He's talking to us in the gym. When he's out and about, I wonder whether what that accent, how strong that New York accent is then.
This is true. I asked him about it last year, and I got the sense as Core hits the three that he is all New Yorker all the time, but you're right.
No, I say that, Jess. I agree with you. He is all New Yorker all the time. Key stretch right here for the Rattlers. They're picking up their heat.
Bryant into the lane, dump it off, and the easy dunk by Branch. Game looks so easy sometimes.
So easy, and it's nice opportunity. Full court pressure right there causing the turnover. A&M got a little careless.
Was that enough contact on the pass to have warranted a call or a good no call?
A very good no call. Hector kind of started to bail out 2 steps too early right there.
Bryant gets the assist on the slam by Branch. Norfolk State back with the basketball up by 14. Back in the hands of the freshman, another Norfolk native out of Lake Taylor High School. Joe Bryant listed at 6'1", 225. From one big body to another, he gets another assist on the jump shot by Butler.
This Norfolk State team just keeps coming. They don't get, like you said, the whole game. They have multiple people that can hurt you. They just keep coming.
Foul goes against Norfolk State that time and against Jordan Butler.
But Butler tried to pull the chair out, he pulled the chair out from underneath. We got 7 minutes. Can Pham make a run?
What pain.
With Advil Liquid Gels.
Among the attractions here in the capital city of Florida is the Tallahassee Automobile Museum. Michael J. Fox would like that one. They've got all sorts of cars from all sorts of different times throughout the automobile history. Batmobiles used in Batman Returns. This museum opened up in 1996. But I think their most interesting piece, Coach, is the 1860 horse-drawn funeral hearse that carried President Abraham Lincoln. Pretty cool stuff.
From the DeLorean to Abe Lincoln's funeral hearse. Next time we're in town, we got to get over there. Check that out. And then who doesn't want to see the original Batmobile, I must say.
That is the Tallahassee Automobile Museum. And this is Chris Ford, the freshman from Chesterfield, Virginia, getting his first point. He has a legacy at Norfolk State. His grandfather graduated from that fine institution way back in 1958.
Young fellow's going to be good. Still green. I don't think he knows how good he can be yet. Just been watching the last couple of days. This young fellow with the ball, he knows how good he can be. Mr. Randolph.
This is the largest lead of the night.
I tell you, Florida A&M got it early in this half, but the way that Norfolk's overplaying, they can get that back door cut again that they got early in the half. Everyone's trying to deny.
Coach, we've talked a lot about the depth of this Norfolk State team. They've only got one starter on the floor right now, and they are extending the lead as they go.
No, right. We said that from the beginning. They feel confident about themselves. They know that, I mean, they're deep. They're deep and they're talented. The lead's 18, and they're not taking their foot off the gas.
Branch, 2-on-1, throws it toward the rim, but through the hands of Chris Ford.
That young fella Ford got a little too excited right there. He was dunking it before he caught it.
Been a tough evening for Cameron Reeves shooting the basketball. Bryant pulls the trigger. Tracy Hector has to find a teammate after falling to the floor.
Now we want to see right now, 6 minutes left. Can Florida A&M execute?
Well, they find the postman who faces up, knocks down the shot. Good look at that set. DJ Jones with the finish.
DJ Jones, the Tulane transfer that also is very skilled, very gifted offensively. He can do a lot of different things. He also, like so many people on the court right now for both teams, have to grow up, have to get stronger, have to get minutes played, but has the potential to be a very good player.
He's still got 2 years of eligibility after this one, playing for Coach McCullum here in Tallahassee. 5 on the shot clock. Thomas, tough contested baseline shot, hit the top of the backboard, and there's your shot clock violation. Nice job by Ravenel to identify that Thomas had to shoot.
And after that stretch right there, you see Coach Jones comes right back with Whitley and Butler to try to finish this out right here.
We're here at the Lawson Center in Tallahassee, Florida. This beautiful building opened up back in 2006. Our former Georgetown head coach Don Thompson III. I'm Doug Sherman. Glad you could be here on Big Monday. There's a long 2-point attempt off the mark by Randolph.
And you know, he's going to, this summer, once the season's over, Randolph's going to get in the gym and just spend time, get the reps with that shot, get the confidence with that shot. Because everything else on the court, he does pretty well.
He might wind up being the MEAC Rookie of the Year 5 times, including this week. He has been the Rookie of the Week in the league. Just think if and when he gets that jump shot. Whitley able to get his own miss and pull it back out. Work a little more clock with 4.5 remaining.
That's a vet, Whitley right there. Goes hard in there, goes downhill like he likes to do, gets the rebound. Okay, let's pull it up, work some more clock.
Chavis. Off the nice feed along the baseline by Bryant.
I'm glad he made it because I want to talk about Chavis for a minute. In watching this team practice and then now play the last 2 days, this is a young man that started off as a walk-on that's playing significant minutes. But if you watch them practice, you know why he's playing. You hear his voice constantly at practice. He's constantly talking. He's constantly encouraging. You just hear his voice. And so many people don't understand just the ability to talk and communicate and encourage is something that coaches look for. He brings this to the table every day.
Ooh, someone's having a good hair day. Smile, you're on Cricket.
62-44, Norfolk State on top. Sports Center tonight after Kansas TCU with John Anderson and Steve Levy. Now that Kyler Murray has chosen the NFL over Major League Baseball, Kirk Herbstreit joins the show to break down the Oklahoma quarterback's draft stock. Plus predictions from Houston as James Harden goes for his 30th straight 30-point game, and Russell Westbrook looks to break Wilt's consecutive triple-double record. Sports Center, 11 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Coach Thompson, I know you were Georgetown in the Big East at the time that Harden and Westbrook were playing college ball in the Pac-10, Pac-12 at Arizona State and UCLA. I don't know how much of them you saw back then, but did you have any idea that Harden and Westbrook would be the forces of nature that they've turned out to be in the NBA?
No, and I think that anyone that says they had that idea might be exaggerating, and particularly Harden, just in how he's always been a very good offensive player, which is how he's progressed to where he literally is unstoppable right now. And Westbrook, you know, now the one thing that he brought to the table that he always had. He plays so hard. You know, at 2007, we were in this Final Four with UCLA. It was Georgetown, Ohio State, Florida, UCLA. And even then, Westbrook played. You can see he plays so hard. The same intensity that he brings to the table now. But for it to turn out like it did, I don't think too many people, you know, could have said they saw that coming.
No, and some of the statistical things that they are doing with the 30-point games and the three-point shooting and the triple-doubles, it really is remarkable.
And I may stand corrected. Sam Presti might be the only one that could say. Sam Presti, who's the general manager of Oklahoma City. Sam Presti and his assistant Troy Weaver, since they drafted them both. Maybe they're the ones that saw that coming.
We'll give it to them. Well, Nick Thomas is having himself quite a game. 24 points, now 26 points to lead all scorers. He is 4 for 5 from beyond the arc. 3 of those have come here in the second half. A perfect 10 for 10 from the free throw line. And those 26 points, Coach, match a career high for the young man out of Arlington, Texas.
And it's been a quiet 20-plus points. I mean, a lot of that is attributed to what you talked about at halftime, the 11 foul shots that he had at the time. You know, but it's been a quiet 26.
Young man who played his freshman year at Houston Baptist, but played just a couple of games before getting hurt. He took a medical red shirt and then went to junior college, Howard College in Big Spring, Texas. Nick Thomas, a big part of what the Spartans are doing, trying to secure sole possession of first place in the MEAC here on the road tonight. They're looking at what should be a Florida split, which is no easy thing. They lost at Bethune-Cookman on Saturday, a preseason favorite in the MEAC, but they've done a good job against a solid A&M team here tonight in Tallahassee.
Well, a Florida split where both games you're missing multiple players that normally contribute. We talked about the 3 that were suspended the other day. You have Alex Long and C.J. Kelly that are out tonight. You know, you don't want to lose, but I'm sure Coach Jones will look at that and say, okay, I'll take that. Now, they can continue to grow. And what I mean is Coach Jones talked about how his team, you know, they just have that feeling that we could turn it on and turn it off. If they can understand that you can't play like that, you can't consistently win like that, you might not be able to win the tournament, which they have to win to go to the NCAA tournament, if that's their attitude.
Thomas, heat check.
Yeah, let me just throw it up there.
About the only thing he's missed so far tonight. Ravenel. Well, he continues to zero in on the all-time three-point mark in program history.
He's going to get it. I'm making that prediction. He's going to get it. And Coach McCollum, I mean, he has this group. He probably wouldn't say this. I'm going to say it. They're ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
You know, in year 2, at the top of the league, you know, you have a game tonight where North Carolina A&T, who's in second place, is trailing at halftime of their matchup against Maryland Eastern Shore. But you know, they're up in 3rd place in the league. They have a good young nucleus that are going to get better. He is a program builder, not a team builder. And what I mean by that is he's not just trying to have a good team. He wants to lay the foundation so Florida A&M can get to where they have consistent success year in, year out. That's going to happen as long as he's sitting on the bench, as long as he's heading up this program. So it's, you know, tonight is not a good night. But overall, this program's in great hands with a great coach.
He was hired in May of 2017, and he inherited a program that was picked for last season to finish last in the MEAC. They wound up middle of the pack. This year picked middle of the pack to the bottom half at number 7, and they are certainly on pace to finish in the first division at the current pace they are going. Coach McCollum's got as long a list of quality coaching stops as most folks. South Alabama, Samford, Southern Illinois, Kansas State, Florida, Illinois, those last 3 under Lon Kruger. And then after his head coaching jobs at Western Michigan and USF, he went back to work as an assistant at the University of San Francisco, UCF, Georgia Tech, and then most recently at the University of Oregon for Dana Altman. That doesn't even count. He had a stop in China as an assistant coach in professional basketball.
He's a coach, you know, and this is what he does. And sitting on that bench, helping young men to grow and mature is something that Coach is all about. A few losses on my resume came to Coach McCullum when he was at South Florida. A few nights that I wish I could forget about that I can't.
Somehow that keeps coming up, that night in Tampa.
That night in Tampa. Last game of the Big East regular season. I think my team was already in Madison Square Garden playing the first round in their heads. We went down there and they handled it to us pretty good.
You guys were ranked 20th in the country. They were looking to avoid a winless conference regular season, and they got you. Just over a minute to go in this one. And by the way, the second-place team in the league, North Carolina A&T, is home against Maryland Eastern Shore tonight. At last report, NCA&T was trailing by 4 fairly early in the second half. That would be big news for Norfolk State to get an extra game cushion in the standings. There goes the Diesel again. Not able to finish this time. Reeves finds Ravenel. He's made 3 of them so far tonight.
And you know what? We were spoiled last week because we saw him hit, 5 or 6 in the first half. And so that 3 doesn't seem like a lot, but young man's a good shooter. Nice, unselfish play by his teammate Reeves to pitch it back to him right there. Smart play, not just unselfish, smart play. You know where your bread is buttered.
Now, Norfolk State will head back to Virginia, having won 9 of its last 10, bouncing back from its first league loss of the year Saturday with a solid win here tonight. Final score is going to be 66-54. Great balance, but it was Nick Thomas who began to separate in the second half when they salted this thing away. Final thought, Coach?
I think this Norfolk State team, they're going to be a load coming down the stretch here. They have a whole lot of answers for whatever you throw at them.
They hang on to first place. For John Thompson, I'm Doug Sherman. So long from Tallahassee. Coming up next on ESPNU, it's SEC Story. So long from Tallahassee.